out of London, and here is why. Also, I just got done crying about this, so excuse me if I look a bit disheveled. I have lived in London for 6, maybe 7 years, and in that time I did a stint in Bali, and then I came back to London because I thought I really loved it so much, and I just really never envisioned myself leaving, especially before I turned 30. This year I started a business, I went self-employed. I think I really underestimated how lonely that would be. For context, people who follow me on here will know I'm an artist, I'm a painter, but I am also a freelance videographer, video editor, social media content creator, I guess. So when I'm not on shoots, I spend a lot of my time at home by myself editing videos. And that gets really lonely sometimes. Going from a 9-to-5 stable job, going traveling for 6 months, living in Bali, and then coming back to London and starting a business and going fully self-employed, building this up by myself, has been really, really difficult. London is so expensive at the minute. We're in the middle of a housing crisis, cost of living crisis. I am in a mental health crisis. And I feel like in order for me to be really happy here, I'm having to work myself to the bone in order to be able to live how I want to live. Now, don't get me wrong, I absolutely love freelancing. I am earning, if not I'm on track to earning, more money than I ever did in my 9-to-5. I love being a business owner. I love feeling like I have purpose. So that is not the problem here. The problem is I feel like I can't slow down. If I'm not doing something, I'm not being productive, or I'm not making the most of living in the city. I feel like I always need to be running around 1,000 miles an hour, and I just simply can't do that. Some of you may have noticed that I took a giant social media hiatus. I haven't been painting. I can't remember the last time I picked up a paintbrush because I am so burnout. But the fact that I'm not painting isn't filling my cup at all. So I'm constantly pouring from an empty cup just to kind of live this life in London that feels maybe like it's a bit of an illusion now, that it's not something that aligns with me anymore. So a month ago, I made the decision to leave London, and instead I have decided to move back to Bali. So I'm going to be back living my little island life. I have a really, really strong network of self-employed friends there, which I don't necessarily have here. Feels like the right move, and I'm going to have a lot more time to focus on me and my mental health and painting and filling my cup doing the things that I know I love to do, all while still being able to progress in my businesses. I'm moving in exactly 1 month. Kind of decided to use my TikTok as more of like a personal diary. We're still going to be doing art. I'm still going to be sharing my process. I'm still going to be sharing my work now that I'm going to have a lot more time to be doing so in Bali. And with that in mind, I thought I would start documenting the process of me getting there. Hopefully we are getting myself back to posting more, feeling a bit more comfortable, painting more, and just living for myself now instead of the way that I thought life should be lived, I guess.
You know, one thing I gotta love about the UK is the fact that you are taxed to your throat, right? And this is, it amazes me, okay? And let me just go through some of the taxes that you're liable for in the UK, and then I'll make a few comments afterwards. So say you have a job. Now, if you have a job, you have to pay income tax, which varies from 20% to 45%, and you also have to pay national insurance contributions. It's just a nice way to divide it into a different terminology, but basically it's pretty much the same thing, really. So you've got that, and then also you have other taxes as well. Let's say, you know, the national insurance contributions that I mentioned, your employer needs to pay that too. So both of you pay it. So there's that. Then if you're self-employed, let's say through a limited company, you also have corporation tax to pay. So there is that. Let's say you have a limited company. Say I've got my limited company, right? And I have a certain amount of earnings. So I pay somewhere in between 19 to 25%, depending on my profit range, on the corporation tax. I pay that. Then I also have to pay dividend tax that I take. So, and also if I pay myself, from the profits through pay, then I also have to pay national insurance contributions, and also income tax. That's a very interesting way to kind of look at it. Then, also, when you buy anything, the groceries, anything you buy, you're also paying taxes on those. You're paying VAT, technically. So you're taxed in there as well. You buy a property, you pay stamp duty tax. You sell the property, you pay capital gains tax again. Let's say, or for example, and the loveliest of all, inheritance tax. You know, your parents pass away and they pass down their generational wealth to you. You pay inheritance tax on that one as well. This is just an exhaustive list, but also, don't allow me to forget these two lovely ones, which are increasing as well. You rent a property, you pay council tax on that. You want to watch live TV? You have to pay for a TV license. You're just taxed anywhere, you know. Very soon, you're going to have to pay around a pence for every breath that you take. That's the outlook for the UK. But one question remains. See, I don't mind paying taxes where I get something for my taxes. You know, I'm a compliant person. But this is one question that I have. All these taxes that we pay, what are we getting in return? Are we getting an improved quality of life? Do we get a better police force? No, we don't, because, you know, if there's a burglary in your house, the police are nowhere to show up, and they just give you a crime reference number, which is what they generally do for in the case of any sort of crimes, depending on what it may be. You want to get a doctor's appointment, you have to wait weeks. You know, the NHS is crumbling down to its knees, and it's always the excuse of, we don't have enough nurses, we don't have enough money, there is austerity, there is this. You look at anything, you look at unemployment rates, you look at, you know, the range of services that may be available, mental health services, nothing. It's the quality is deteriorating and is degrading every day, but you have to pay more tax. You just pay more. Just pay the tax, and God knows where this money goes. I mean, we do know where it goes, don't we? But I'm not going to get into that one in this video. Maybe in another video. See you later.
Hey all, have you got a side gig or a side hustle that's earning you some extra money? If so, then this one is for you. HMRC dropped this press release today, basically saying that if you've got a side hustle, so think dog walking, selling crafts, content creation, property rental, then you need to check if you have to file a tax return for the year 24-25. The magic number is £1,000. If you earn less than £1,000, you're in the clear. HMRC don't want to know. But if you earn more than £1,000, you must register with HMRC, and this is revenue before any expenses. They've also included crypto gains in this, so all you crypto miners in there, they're talking to you too. They're urging you to file now to avoid the January rush. If you file now, then you know how much tax that you have to pay. If you've got a tax bill, it gives you time to save for it. And the deadline to file your return and pay your tax is the 31st of January 2026. So mark that date in your calendar. Also, if you are a sole trader or a landlord and you've got gross income of 50,000 or more, then you need to get ready for income tax MTD, which is coming from April 2026. HMRC have provided some guidance entitled Take the Hassle Out of Your Side Hustle, and I'll put the link to it down in the caption. The guidance will help you figure out if self-assessment applies to you and if you need to register. So if your side gig is earning you £1,000 or more, check the guidance to see if you have to file a return, and if so, get it done as soon as possible to avoid the January rush. So I hope you found this post useful. If so, please give it a like, please follow this account, and please share this with anybody you think needs to know. Take care. Bye-bye.
I paid over £2,500 in salary deduction this month. Like, at this point, we literally pay for the UK to exist. Like, there's no other reason for it. So I've been paid this month And I thought I'll have a look at my payslip because I've just come back off maternity leave. I was paid extra this month, just part of my bonus. And I thought, let me just have a look at my payslip. Please tell me why I'm paying over £2,500 in deductions. Like, these are my deductions: income tax, NIC and student loan. How is that literally a whole other wage? You know what really pisses me off? Like, that money goes for welfare, policing, education, whatever. Why do I have to still pay for childcare? Like, if I'm paying this much in tax and NIC and stuff, surely my childcare should be free, no? Like, completely free. I know we're getting like 15 hours free. We're going to be getting 30 hours free soon, but we still have to pay. I literally feel like I'm being robbed. And I know this is the case for everyone. Obviously, I'm not the only one, but why are we penalized so much? Like, if you just think about all those hours that we work, like for me and so many other parents, like, we leave our children, we put them in childcare or we leave them with family members to go to work, and to be penalized that much, it just feels so unfair. The thing is, I rarely look at my payslip as well, because it's usually the same amount unless I'm getting a bonus in the month, then it'll be a bit more. But I rarely look at it, so I don't ever really face how much I'm actually paying towards like HMRC. The UK is just finished at this point. Like, I get why so many people are like moving out of the country, and we do have so many benefits, but this feels like too much. Like, is anyone else with me on it? It just feels like we're being penalised a little bit too much. I just feel like working parents have it the worst. Like, we leave our kids to go to work. We then have to suffer with these like massive deductions in our pay. We still have to pay for childcare, even though why do these deductions not go for us, like our childcare? It doesn't make sense. If you've looked at your payslip recently, have you been as shocked as I was? I surely can't be the only one that feels like this is just daylight robbery. Like, how are they justifying this? It just seems so insane to me.
When I got dressed this morning, I thought, do you know what? Do you know what vibe I'm feeling today? I'm feeling unbothered vibe, like, fuck it vibe, kind of don't care vibe, yeah? So I put my unbothered top on. As the day's gone on, I'm not feeling that vibe anymore. I'm feeling I am fucking bothered vibe. I've just tried to get hold of HMRC. You all know how that goes. 45 minutes I've been trying to get through and I fucking gave up. Now, some of you will say, Soph, you're crazy. You waited 45 minutes. You might as well have stayed on the line. Someone was going to pick up eventually. No, this is where you're wrong. I would have waited another 45 minutes and I probably was the last one at the back of the queue. So I gave up. I thought I'll try again tomorrow. I only need to update my company electric vehicle that I've now got with the tax man. But I think my work, I've already done that. But I want to do it my end to make sure that the tax man can't say I didn't call and tell him. Although he can say I didn't call and tell him because he doesn't answer the phone. Do you know what I mean? I think that's how they get you. I think that is how they get you. They leave the phones off the hook all day long, maybe put them on the hook for 10 minutes and then take them back off so that they can do people for tax stuff, because you can never get hold of them to tell them. You can never, ever, ever tell them, oh, you know, I've got a promotion, I'm now earning more money, or whatever, or I'm now working part-time and not full-time, or all this and that. You can never get hold of them to tell them. So I reckon the tax man does it on purpose. I reckon at certain times of the day he walks around and pulls the cable out of the phones so you can't call him. He don't want you to call him. He wants to take your money. He don't want you to tell him the truth. He wants to do you over the table and say, you didn't call me. Fucking didn't call you. I fucking try to call you every day of the fucking week, but you don't answer your fucking phone. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I'm feeling bothered today. I'm feeling like this government is just an absolute joke. Generally, they make life harder than it actually needs to be. Like, why can't life just be so simple? Like, what, excuse me, why am I having to pay tax on a company vehicle that I literally only use for work? I only use it for work. Why am I having to pay more tax on top of the tax that I'm already paying because I'm working? No. Might as well quit my job, sign on to the dole and get everything paid for me. Because apparently when you work, you just get done up the backside more and more and more. I've had my rant for today. I'm going to go make myself a cup of tea and maybe go eat some ice cream. But yeah, if anyone works for HMRC, can you answer the fucking phone?
Good morning. I'm not sure what I mentioned before, but about 6 months ago, I attended a meeting run by the County Council. And the meeting was for people that were interested in becoming councillors. So they were giving you help and support and information, answering any questions about what it was like to do the job. Now, I'd been retired about 18 months and I thought maybe I should do some volunteering and maybe give something back to the community. So I went along to this meeting with the expectation that I'd be of real value to them. My previous role in marketing might not seem relevant, but I had an expenditure budget of £10 million, which I spent each year, and I had to demonstrate a good return on that in terms of company revenue. That's how I was measured. I was pretty good working with a team of people, and I had good communication skills. So I thought there's bound to be something that I would be ideally placed to add value. So about 45 minutes into the meeting, I thought there's no way I can help here. And the reason for that is they went through their budget and they split the budget down by category. So the category for roads and car parking and bin collections and other services. But from memory, it was either 2/3 or even 70% or more was spent on adult social care. So care homes, day centres, home help, basically support for adults that needed it to improve their quality of life. And I was shocked by this, and apparently it's the case for all councils that the vast majority, the biggest pot by a mile, is adult social care. Now, Reform have won all these councils this week, and they've gone in on the back of cutting waste, kind of Elon Musk, take a chainsaw, Doge style cuts. And I can't see where they're going to cut unless they go for the oldest and the weakest and the most vulnerable people. Now, there's bound to be a little bit of efficiency, but they've made some big promises that these cuts are going to be huge, have a big impact, and will allow them to bring the council tax bills down. And having seen the budget breakdown firsthand and understand the pressures that they're under to provide these services without cutting back, it's a tough job. I wouldn't want the job anyway, because they've got to make some awful decisions on a daily basis about what they can spend and where. Now, I know what's going to happen. After a few months, Reform are going to say, well, it's not our fault, it's the government. They've cut our funding, or they've not given us what we need, and that sort of thing, and blame stats. In the same way that they blamed the wrong kind of Brexit for the fact that the country's lost £50 billion a year as a result of leaving the EU. There's always somebody else to blame. Lots of promises, lots of easy answers to very difficult problems, and then when it doesn't work, you blame somebody else. So we shall see what happens, but having had a little bit of insight into what the local council have got to do, I don't envy their task.